Hi, this video is a review of Chapter 3, the first section. And this chapter is titled Business Transactions and the Accounting Equation. So one important thing to know about this book is they always have an opening page on a chapter, and what I like about that is there's always a big idea down here. And this one is to understand the financial condition of any business. You need to know the accounting equation. That's where our focus is going to be. And then down here are kind of the learning targets that I'll have listed on the Schoology page. And so for this section, I can describe the relationship between property and the financial claims to the property. So important to look at these maybe when we start a new chapter. Main idea here, any item of property has at least one financial claim against it. Accounts are used to analyze those business transactions. We're going to learn about that in the second section. Owner's equity is changed by revenue, expenses, and withdrawals, and that is the third section. Okay, so to look at 3.1, this section is going to talk about property and the financial claims to the property. Okay, so it begins with a little example of UPS and their global delivery. They have properties such as airplanes, trucks, computers, and reports show how the company obtained the property. They either acquired it from loans or funds, investments made by investors or owners. So what is property? Property is anything of value that the business owns. The right to own property is really basic, to free enterprise like we talked about in Chapter 2. There's an example here where you want to buy a mountain bike. It's a $600 bike. You pay cash for the bike, and you are the exclusive owner of the bike. If you wanted to pay less money, you could have rented the bike for the weekend and spent a lot less money, but you only have the bike for a limited amount of time. So if we look at that from a business sense, one of the purposes of accounting is to provide financial information about property and the financial claim to the property. So that claim is your legal right to an item, to a piece of property. In our mountain bike example, here's your property. It was worth $600. You are the only one that has financial claim to the bike because you paid for it in full. When you buy it with cash, you acquire all the financial claims to that property. On the other side, when you buy something and you agree to pay for it later, you're buying it on credit. Okay, so that's a huge thing in business. The business or person that's selling it to you on credit is called your creditor. Probably two terms that you're familiar with. When you buy on credit, you don't have the only financial claim. You're sharing that claim with your creditor. So in another example they have here, you want to buy a lock for your mountain bike, but you only have $60 and the lock is $100. So you're going to pay the $60 and you're going to owe your creditor or the store $40. So in that example, it looks a little bit different here. Here's our piece of property, our lock, and your claim to it is $60. The creditor's claim is $40. So you can see that two or more people can have financial claim. You have claim and the creditor has claim. In this example here, we're saying, okay, we need to buy a vehicle. We are going to put down $1,200 cash for this $8,000 vehicle, and we're going to have a loan to a credit union for $6,800. And just like the bike lock, our property, our value of the property is on the left side, and then the two groups of people that have financial claim to it, you and the credit union, are on the right side. So the creditor's financial claim and the owner's financial claim. As the owner, if you don't make these payments, if you don't pay your $6,800, the credit union can exercise its right and claim the vehicle, and you lose ownership. So, breaking that down into accounting terms, property, anything of value, is called an asset. Asset is a very big term in accounting. Lots of different types of assets. A very liquid asset would be cash, office equipment, computer equipment, manufacturing equipment. Long-term assets, or things that aren't maybe as liquid, would be buildings that you may own or land that you may own. So anything of value owned by a business, we don't call it property, we call it an asset. And the accounting term for the financial claims is called equities. So up here in our equation, these are the assets and these are the equities to those assets. So we're going to look at the term equity a little bit more. So we're going to have this example in the book that we'll talk about time and time again. Whenever they introduce a new topic, we're going to talk about Krista Vargas. She is a sole proprietor and her business is Zip Delivery Service. Okay, so she's going to buy a truck for $10,000. She has $3,000 to put down and she's going to get a loan for $7,000. So in our example here, we'd have the property worth $10,000, the creditor's claim is $7,000, and the owner's claim is $3,000. So this side over here are the two equities. This is the asset. Over time, we're going to hopefully pay our debt off, and this will decrease. The creditor's claim is decreasing, our claim is increasing until a point where we've paid for the truck entirely. And so to break that down even further and get to the final accounting equation, the terms here are, these are the equities. The owner has what's called the owner's equity, and it's measured by the dollar amount of the owner's claims to the asset. So if they only had one asset, the truck, he would have a $6,500 owner's equity. The creditor's claim to the assets are called liabilities. Liabilities are debts of the business, the things that we owe. So our accounting equation here ends in this manner. Property is asset, anything of value. Creditor's claim are called liabilities, and the owner's claim is called owner's equity. So assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. A lot of times you'll see this just as A equals L plus OE. That is the basic accounting equation. We will be talking about that quite a bit. So that's the end of section 3.1.